Are you really ready to hire a virtual assistant, or are you just hiring a VA because your favorite social media business guru influencer is highly recommending it that you hire a VA? Or do you really feel in your gut that you're ready to scale your business, lead a team, and actually have the time to be there to support your team in the first place? Before you even think about posting a job ad for a virtual assistant on a job board or calling the assistant referral someone gave you, know these things first, because this will save you a lot of trouble and might even save you from having to spend money you could have saved. Because for all you know, you might not be ready to hire a VA. At least not yet. So here's how to find out if you're really ready to hire a VA. Number one, do you know exactly what tasks you want to hand off to your VA? Surprisingly, a lot of consulting clients I talk to have already set their mind on hiring a VA or getting an assistant. They're so ready to scale their business, but that's just it. They feel the readiness, but they don't have the exact idea which business processes to delegate to their VA hire or new team member. Usually, when faced with this situation, like when my client doesn't even know what she wants or has no idea where to start with task delegation, I ask them this question. Give me 3 tasks that you can think of at the top of your head that you absolutely hate doing. Their faces would light up and they immediately know what to do next, because whether we like it or not, or even if we say it's
just business, it's not personal.
Boy, is that ever so wrong, because running your own business, there's a lot of emotion tied to it. Your small business, the one that you're trying to build from the ground up, my friend, is emotional for you, and that's 100% valid. And why shouldn't it be an emotional thing in the first place? Don't you get frustrated when you can't reach your goals or do what needs to be done in your business because you're stuck answering 100 emails daily? Or you're spending night after night on Canva trying to create graphics for your social media account? Or writing blogs for your website to keep up with the publishing schedule? All these tasks that you might not love anymore, although you thought you loved doing them in the beginning, have become an
inconvenience.
And yes, that is emotionally draining. This is why when I ask my clients which 3 tasks they hate doing, they can easily give an answer. Now that they have their 3 most hated tasks, that's good. This is where we can begin, because those 3 tasks are now the first tasks that they will assign to their virtual assistant. So if you don't know exactly what tasks you want your virtual assistant to do, or you do not have the specific projects yet to hand off to your team, then don't hire yet. Determine the tasks or projects first. Number 2, do you know how to give clear instructions? Let's assume that you have your 3 most hated tasks and you're ready to hand them off to your VA. This brings us to number 2, which is giving proper instructions. Yes, I know it may be simple, giving clear instructions, that's it. You probably didn't think it was, but yes, it is. You have to know how to give clear and followable instructions. I know it seems like a trivial thing, but believe me when I say, if you can't give simple instructions to the restaurant server how you want your steak, or what side dish to order, or how you want it served, trust me, you cannot have a virtual assistant yet. If you get mad when the Subway sandwich food prep guy asks for clarifications about your order and you snap at him because why can't you get a simple sandwich order right? Or if you do not have the patience to learn how to give clear and concise instructions to another person, do not hire a virtual assistant.
Nope.
This is super crucial if you want your virtual assistant relationship to be a successful one, because when you hire a VA, that person will not automatically know what you want them to do. You're lucky if you hire a VA who can immediately get you and understands what you need and just runs with it. But more often than not, the new VA you hire needs to be onboarded. You'll need to explain in writing or in a video instruction, if you're fancy, to show this person what exactly you need done. So that's number 2. If you haven't mastered the art of giving clear and followable instructions, do not hire a VA yet. Let's go to number 3. Do you have the funds on hand to pay your VA for the next 3 months? Let me emphasize this because this is about money and your responsibility as the client or employer. I want to make it super clear that when you hire a VA, you become responsible for them. You are now the work parent of that person. So if you cannot religiously pay them on time and the right amount for the next 3 months, if you do not have those funds on hand yet, or if you will be using your credit card or borrowing money just to pay your VA, I say do not hire a VA yet. You are very likely not ready, or at least your business is not growing enough yet in revenue or has enough cash flow that will enable you to afford having a virtual assistant or a team member. Whichever way you look at it, hiring a virtual assistant is taking on responsibility. It's not merely tossing tasks their way or hoping for miracles.
No.
It's far more significant than that. You're taking on the role of a guardian of their well-being and their livelihood. If you fail to provide them with work, if you play hide and seek with their retainer fees or payouts, you're essentially pushing them towards the brink of financial uncertainty. Think about it. As a responsible leader, your actions have a direct impact on someone's life. So when you pay them promptly, you're ensuring that they can put food on the table, keep a roof over their heads, and live with financial security. It's a weighty responsibility that goes beyond merely delegating tasks. So do not be that client who fails to pay. I promise you, karma will come a-running when the time is right, and it will bite you in the butt when you yourself will have a client who wouldn't pay you on time. Do not ever shortchange your virtual assistant or your team. Pay them right and pay them on time. And if you absolutely cannot maintain their retainer fee or pay their invoice, let them know right away. Again, if you do not have the funds on hand to pay your VA for the next 3 months, do not hire a VA yet. Question: why 3 months? Well, usually a service agreement or a contract with an outsourced service provider would last 3 months. So if you don't have the monthly retainer on hand as agreed in the contract with your virtual assistant, you're risking that person's financial stability. As a virtual assistant for more than 10 years, I have always made it a point to finish tasks on time and to inform my client when I finish such tasks. I will work and do what is expected of me, and I expect to get paid on time too. The VA that you hire will expect the same. So do not be a disappointing client who can't pay on time and in full. Let's go to number 4. Do you have the time to actually communicate with your virtual assistant? Like I said in number 3, you as the client have the responsibility to your VA. Besides your monetary responsibility, you also have the communication responsibility. I've had several clients in the past who took me as a virtual assistant, but they were super hard to reach. And they send me tasks, I do them, I send my report, and it takes them 2 weeks to respond. While I'm quite successful at not feeling emotionally tied to my work and I react as objectively as I can when a client ghosts me after I send my report, I promise you not all virtual assistants are like me. The VA that you hire might need a bit of hand-holding at the beginning, and they might have clarifications about the tasks. They might have a couple of questions about your instructions, or the files you thought you sent them didn't get sent, so they end up having no tasks to do because they can access the raw materials, the assets, the videos, the content, or the references that you said you would send them. So being unresponsive to your virtual assistant shows that you're not ready to lead yet. And if you do not have the time to respond to your VA or check on them at least once or twice a week, or even have a catch-up call on Zoom once a month, then I promise you that your virtual assistant relationship is doomed even before it begins. So do not hire a VA yet if you do not have the time and the patience to communicate, clarify, or confirm messages from your virtual assistant. Imagine your VA sitting at their computer, eagerly awaiting your instructions, and they've committed their time, their schedule, and their energy to assist you, and they're banking on you to provide them with meaningful work. But you're not responsive. You don't reply, and you leave them hanging dry. So I'll be honest, and I will tell you now that you're not just letting your VA or your team down, you're causing them genuine distress. If you keep ghosting your VA, I guarantee you that they're already sending out resumes to potential new employers or getting ready to leave their job with you. Your team needs a responsible boss who takes their leadership duties to heart. You have to take this very seriously and commit to actually lead your team and support them when they need it. So stop yourself. Do not hire a VA if you do not have the time, the energy, and the commitment to communicate and catch up with your virtual assistant on a regular basis. Promise me, you won't ghost your VA, okay? It's just not fair and super bad form for any business owner. I mean, you don't ever want your clients to ghost you, right? So don't do that to your VA.
Okay.
I will call a spade a spade. And the mother of all misconceptions that many people have about hiring a VA or building a team is that they think it's just hiring someone to work for you. But in reality, you're actually hiring someone who will become your responsibility. It's easy to parade around like a proud peacock, boasting, hey, look at me, I have a team. You might want to bask in the glory of having individuals who can juggle tasks for you, assist you with projects, and give you a virtual standing ovation as you conquer your goals. But here's the truth of it all. If you want to scale your business and call yourself a CEO, your team needs you. Your VA, your assistant, they don't just need you for tasks. They need you to be their leader. And if you cannot lead, you cannot communicate what you want, you don't have the funds to sustain a team for the long term, you will not have a successful relationship with your VA. And I'm not afraid to pop the bubble of overconfidence and serve up some unfiltered honesty like what I'm doing now. The moment you come to terms with the fact that hiring someone means you are responsible for them is the moment you finally put on your CEO hat. Also, CEOs do not complain. Instead of telling their VA, you should have done this, and why did you do that, or you're doing it wrong, or why can't you get it right? These verbiages sound like tantrums, don't they? You've probably heard these same words from the boss you hated when you were still in your corporate job and that made you leave your job so you can start your own business, right? Sound familiar? Now, before I continue, did you subscribe yet? No? No pressure, but you'll miss out on my happy dance whenever someone clicks the subscribe button. But anyway, you know what to do. And we're back. So this brings me to number 5. Do you know how to handle it when your VA makes mistakes? Do you know how to coach that person to do the tasks better and correctly next time? And in my virtual assistant business at 8.8, the most successful clients we have who delegate their tasks and projects seamlessly are those who know how to handle things when they go wrong. No VA can promise you 100% accuracy with task output because nobody is perfect for sure. You're not perfect and your VA is not perfect either. So when your virtual assistant's imperfections rise to the surface, do you get mad? Do you throw a tantrum and blame it on your VA? Or worse, do you ask for a refund? Or do you put on your mentor hat and coach your VA to become a better team member? It's up to you how to handle this because when I was a younger, naive, and noob virtual assistant, I've had clients who ask for a refund because they claimed that I didn't do the task right. But in all honesty, I did the task to the best of my understanding. And the worst part of that experience is when a client asks for a refund for the hours and hours of work I already put in. I did grant the refund because I was raised by principled parents and I don't ever want to disappoint them. Give to Caesar what is due to Caesar. But even after sending the client the refund, it always put a huge dent in my finances because virtual assistants, especially those who are just starting out, they don't earn a lot. So if you dock their pay or demand a refund as a way of taking revenge on a task that wasn't done properly, think again. Could it be at all possible that you could have improved the way you communicated your instructions? Are you being a reasonable CEO? Are you ready to bear the weight of having a VA in your business and that becoming your responsibility? Because if you have a VA who isn't performing their best, if you find yourself repeating your instructions and your VA is just not getting it despite all the coaching and the mentoring that you've done, there are only 2 possible things. 1, your VA is not the right fit, or number 2, you are the wrong client for the VA. So take your pick. After you realize this, you can safely let your VA go and move on to find a better team member to hire into your business. So there you have it. If you can't handle these 5 things yet, you're probably not ready to hire a VA. Do yourself a favor. Really evaluate if you're ready to lead a team. Do you have the time? Do you have the patience? Do you have the funds and the coaching capabilities to be a CEO? I will let you answer that question, but if you've already answered yes and you're ready, your next problem would be, how do I supercharge my virtual assistant to perform their best? That VA could be your super weapon, and if you're not letting them fulfill their potential, you're wasting talent and time in your team. So in my next video, I'll share with you a handful of helpful tips on how to supercharge your virtual assistant team. This is the secret sauce to task delegation, and you don't want to miss it. I'll see you in my next video.